Welcome to the Manifesting Millions podcast. I am your host, Rashida McFerrin, and today we are going to be talking about For the Love of Money, honey. Ooh, you're going to get it popping on it, right? Happy Friday for everybody. What's today's date? The 27th? We are officially on the tail end of September, our birthday month. And when I say our, I'm talking about me, my mom, and my sister. Our birthday month is coming to a close. I hope you spent your suddenly sweet September doing amazing things that are signifying bringing in the change of the seasons. For once here in Texas, it's actually starting to look like fall super early on. So that means it is going to be a very chilly winter. Well, I wanted to pop on and do another episode. We are just one episode after this one shy of being at 30 episodes. I'm so excited about that. And I wanted to talk on the subject of loving money. Honey, this topic can be so juicy. We are taught so many things about money as we're growing up, as we experience money from what environment we grow up in, when we go off to school, start working for it, start investing. I've witnessed some interesting situations and experiences play out over the years in regards to money, especially working in a financial institution. And the one thing I am for certain of is that money can be a tool used for good. Absolutely, because I've spent a good part of my career doing just that. I talk about how in May 2020, I originated over $40 million of loan in a 30-day time period in the middle of COVID when we were doing paycheck protection loans. So we could make sure that businesses were keeping their businesses open, paying their people, and keeping basically food on the table and people in their homes. I am very proud of that. I do not shy away from the fact that the number I stick with is having dealt with $44 billion in transactional value over the course of my career in the past 18 years. And truth be told, that is a very conservative amount. Once I hit 34 and did my first $1 billion deal, I stopped counting because there is literally no way for you to keep up with the amount of assets that are coming your way when you're managing risk, when you're managing money, when you're approving money. It's just, there's no way to do it. Maybe early on in my career, when I was like in my late 20s, right after I had my son, they used to keep up with the transactional value that we were approving as senior analysts. It was a couple of multi-million dollar deals that added up over time, but we also were dealing with smaller assets, meaning that we were dealing with houses. And houses, if you don't know it, is usually considered in a banking world a smaller asset. I have constantly had the opportunity. You know what I wish I had done? I wish I had kept up with how many millionaires I created over the course of my career. Because every time a deal is approved, somebody's getting paid somewhere. The question of how that money translates over to their actual net worth has always been like a mystery to me because I can never know how that plays out into their real life. Well, that would be nice to know because I know I've made a ton of millionaires, multimillionaires. I don't know if I've made a billionaire yet. I feel like I would know that. I would feel like I would remember that distinctly, just like I remember the first time I touched $1 billion in a transactional deal. That is a number I would have loved to have kept up with over the years that I just never thought about. When you deal with money, live with money, use money, lend money, receive money, work for money, invest money, give money, again, receive money. When you deal with money to the point that I have over the course of my career, for me, I talked about really early on when we first started the podcast how I was very neutral to money coming into this space because I got so neutral to dealing with deals that it didn't make a difference whether it was $1 billion or a million, you know? And I know the average person can't relate to that because the average person doesn't have my experience. And so, what I've had to do as I've launched my business over the last year is reconnect with what is going on in the everyday person's head of when they're dealing with money and how to build from the ground up because everybody don't start at the top. We start at the bottom. And for those of you who don't know my story, I talk about the fact that I had the privilege of growing up into what was considered, I guess, Black wealth to a degree because we grew up in the country with a ton of land, but technically I don't own any of that land there. Now, whether I own land elsewhere is a whole horse of another color, right? You don't always have to live where your family lived and own assets where your family owned. If you want to write a new story and a new path for your family to chart somewhere differently, then do that. You don't have to always be tied to what was in the past. You can create a new story in the present going forward to the future. And the interesting thing about my family is that while the land is still in our family, it's an interesting dynamic that that's not the only land available within this country. You can always go buy more land somewhere else. I'm just saying. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Um, and you should at some point, you should own land for your family. I say that about anybody who lives in this country, United States of America. I guess the quote unquote old American dream is to own a piece of the American dream was to own a home and to own land. I say it's to own land and set up shop and build legacy on that like my ancestors did for us. And just if you don't like where you're from, change it. Go buy land elsewhere. It's always land to buy somewhere in this country or in the world for that matter, truth be told. But I just wanted to pop on and talk about how money can change the trajectory of someone's life, even if you weren't born into it. Number one, psychology. The psychology of money is a mindset that you have to have. There are a couple of things that you will begin to notice about people who acquire assets is that they live from an abundant mindset. And I'm not just talking about in regards to money, I'm talking about in regards to life. Everywhere the sole of their foot steps in this life, they act like they own it. And it is a beautiful attitude to take into the world because that is a belief and a confidence in yourself and your family that can be unshakable. That in and of itself alone can attract a million opportunities to you in order for you to get whatever it is you're trying to get out of life. Number two, money is a tool, not necessarily the destination. Is it a tool that we'll always need? Absolutely. We live in this 3D reality. Yes, we will always need money. Our world is built around it. Ironically, this is the funny part. Let's take it back. I'm going to deviate for a second. It is a tool that we're actually not really taught that much about in school, but it's the main tool that literally runs your life from the moment you get out of school. Actually, even before, for the moment that you're like conscious of what money is and how it helps you buy stuff when you're little, it is a tool that is present in your life from that moment on until you leave this earth. And so it is a tool that you have to learn how to use efficiently and hopefully effectively so you can learn how to make it grow. You can learn how to make money work for you. You can turn money into an employee. There is a concept of having your money work for you so that it makes you more money. And let's go back to making your money work for you. It kind of leads into building wealth and abundance, which kind of goes into the first thing, which is what I talked about in regards to the psychology of money. In order for you to build wealth, you need money. Okay. 1 + 1 is 2. In order to build wealth, you have to learn how to make money work for you. That's what I spoke about in number 2. What you have to figure out is what is the best, most efficient way for you to have money work for you. Do you want to do it in real estate? Do you want to save it and make it grow and put it in a bank and earn 0.04% interest on it? Do you want to buy buildings? Do you want to invest? Do you want to invest in ETFs? What do you want? What tool will you use in order to grow your money and make it work for you? And what is the time frame that it will take? And despite what we hear now, it does still take time to make money. Will it take less time for certain people? Absolutely, it will. Slow and steady in my head always wins the race. You have to remember that. And so you don't have to be jealous of what people have. And if you are jealous of what people have, go figure out how to create the money in abundance to get what it is that you like that they got so you can go create your own version of it instead of just sitting there being jealous of them. I guarantee you I ain't jealous of nobody. When it comes to money, honey, and assets, I am not jealous of anybody, family included. Let me be very clear on that. I'm very proud of the life we've created for ourselves and how I've allowed money to be an instrument in our lives that both gives and receives on both ends. And the goal is always for me to create more people who think like me, to create more people who have an abundant mindset that can go out into the world and create something tangible, turn it into something valuable, hopefully build it up, sell it, reap the profits from it, and take that and invest it and go back and put it into something else that will continue to make it grow. That's the real flex, truth be told. We don't have to be stuck back in the late 1800s after our post Reconstruction era from slavery, where, we Black folks in this country get free. We don't have to stay stuck in that mindset and what was. Honey, innovate. There are new ways to make money. Hello, alternative assets. You don't have to stay stuck in what was and what our forefathers did for us or what our ancestors did for us and trying to live off the value that they created 3, 4 generations later. And you know what I say to that is that how lazy are you that you can't go and create your own wealth? Why do you have to continue to stand on the shoulders of someone else? Even if it was meant for you, how lazy are you? Like, go be prosperous in this world. Use the God given talents and abilities that you've been given with this breath of life and go create your own. That's what I have respect for. Real talk. Money can be an absolutely beautiful thing if we utilize it well, if we use it as a tool that creates value in the world and gives beauty in the world that creates more meaning. Period. So that's it. This is a quick, shorty episode. I hope you enjoy your weekend. I hope you have a wonderful, spend wonderful time with your family. As always, you can find us on Rashida.ai or on RashidaMcFerrin.com. I am on socials, mainly TikTok and Instagram. And until when, I will see you in the next episode. Bye for now.